what I'll do first and foremost, I'll hold consultative meetings, because Parliament, where I'm going, it has what? Rules and regulations on to which Parliament what? Runs these activities. So as a member of Parliament, I will first have to hold different consultative meetings with the stakeholders, with the people for whom I'm going to represent. Because when you represent people, you must get their views, because when you go there, you're not going to speak for yourself. You're going to speak for what? For your people. And I do believe people really need the voice, need someone who's going to speak for them. Secondly, I'll make sure I do mobilize for people. The women need to be mobilized. There are activities that Parliament classifies. There are activities that the government that we're in classifies as activities that are for women, that are for youth, that are for men, and all other things. These people need to be informed and mobilized to go and engage in such activities. I will again say, I will make sure I do verify any voter appointments. I will make sure for any appointment as a leader, I will make sure as a leader, I will do what? I will verify, and because usually they are what they call moderator, they are appointments that come from the president or from the fountain of honor for different and various positions. As a member of Parliament, I will make sure that every person, before they take their position, I will make sure I do verify them. I will make sure under Parliament, under the Act of Parliament, that we don't have under what? Undergraduates. We don't have leaders that undercooked. Please, people of Gweri, you need people that are well versed with Parliament. You need people that are going to speak for Parliament. You need people that will be there and speak for you, people of Gweri. Thank you so very much for your moderation.
Asking on how you will be able to fulfill that power you have, that zeal in terms of representation. But nevertheless, how would you think you will work in unison with the Fourth Estate? How do you think you will be able to work with the Fourth Estate?
Pardon me? Thank you so very much. What I can say, I as a candidate or I as an MP who will be elected for Member of Parliament in Gweri, I will make sure that this media as a section has a very strong point, has a very strong arm in the government, because everything runs on media. We live and work with the government that trusts the media so much. I will make sure I deal hand in hand with the media so that they can help to diversify the information from Parliament, because our people down this side may not have the information, but through the media they can easily get that information dissected and brought down to people to make sure they do understand what is running in Parliament. The challenge we have as people of Teso, our leaders never come back to us. They go and take part in Parliament, but they never come back and tell us what actually is happening in Parliament. So we need leaders who are going to work with all stakeholders, the media and other departments, to make sure the people on the ground understand what is taking part in Parliament, what happened in Parliament, what laws are being passed in Parliament. As leaders, we need to do these things, and I advise all my colleagues that as a leader, we should not go to Parliament. If any of you, or I myself, if I do get a chance, I will make sure I always inform whatever happens in Parliament. I will make sure I do inform through all platforms, through the media that you all talk about, and other departments. Even I myself, I will make sure the people on the ground are aware about what actually is happening in Parliament.
It constitutes to 90% of your background. One of the characters you portray is being a well-informed person from the first impression you have given. But when you go to Parliament, how would you measure your effectiveness as a representative of the people of Gweri?
Thank you very much. I'm smiling because already you are giving a credit. the people who are seated here from Gweri, I think you take that as a plus. The question
It's not a
is,
plus, it's a description.
yes, and that is me. So already it puts me on the top, because if you are able to describe, you are looking at my attributes. And I want to tell the people of Gweri, Teso, and Uganda at large, you cannot be a leader without the component of activism. The sitting government normally listens through what we do in activism. That's why you see people do demonstrations, you see people do Twitter handles. That is all activism. And I am happy that I have that. You are asking me on how I will measure my effectiveness. The role of a member of parliament, like you are asking my colleague, under representation. First of all, there are sessions in the Parliament of Uganda that I'm supposed to be attending, participating, like any other person. The current members of Parliament, if you look at the attendance, is always below 30%. So for me, David Asubu, I will have to ensure that I am part of 70-80% of those sessions in the Parliament of Uganda. So if I'm able to be part of many of them, I will be able to measure my effectiveness. Number two, you have heard when they are saying many go, they keep quiet for 5 years. I am not that type who will go to Parliament of Uganda and keep quiet for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and again come back to ask for another mandate. You know, I understand the challenges people of Gweri, Soroti, Teso, at large go through. When we started, I told you, I am not inspired by riches. I come from a poor family, and I'm motivated to fix on the challenges that people go through. So by me fixing on some of those challenges in the Parliament of Uganda, as one of the persons who went through, I will be able to measure on my effectiveness. People in Teso, all of us who are seated in the front here, some people, it might be the first time they are engaging with the media. It's on record that Asubu David has been engaging with the media. Government normally listens to the media. And I remember when I was still working for civil society, we trained some of the media people on the governance reporting, because some of them were reporting, doing profiling politicians. There is a difference between writing about a politician because he's paying you an allowance, and writing on the issues that affect the people. So I will be able to work with the media for you people to be able to write about issues that affect our people, and for us who sit in the government to be able to take on some of those issues. By so doing, I will be able to assess on my effectiveness. A member of parliament holds a double sword. It's not about sitting in the parliament. My effectiveness. How many times do I consult with the people of Teso and the people of Gweri? How many times? How many times do I speak on their issues? Their issues. Because they is going to Parliament of Uganda and you are speaking on the issues that don't touch the lives of a taxpayer coming from Gweri. Like I told you, as we speak right now, the people of Gweri, one of the things affecting them, especially young people who are still here, a technical school. For 5 years, no one is talking about that. So if I went to Parliament of Uganda and I'm able to speak about it, but also work with my colleagues, money is there. Work with my colleagues and that issue is fixed, I will be able to assess my effectiveness. On the health center Greece, it's not my policy. It's not my health guideline. It's a guideline for government of Uganda that our Gweri, Aukot must be having a center Greece. So if I speak about that in the Parliament of Uganda and money is appropriated, our money is there. If I told you the ones who are there don't have a heart for you, they are just there to rent you. But you have an opportunity to send Asubu who has a heart to fix your issues. If that is fixed, I will be able to measure my effectiveness. I am sure at the end of the 5 years, Gweri County will never have 5 people who want to contest to go to Parliament of Uganda, because they will be fearing on what I've been able to deliver.
The people of Alere in Gweri, the people of Amodrena, and the people of Abelet are currently facing a crisis of connectivity. So what procedure would you take to table their matter?
That is very simple. One of the things the Member of Parliament does is to consult, like you have informed me. I hope you know that every member is supposed to be having a personal assistant who is a lawyer to profile on some of those issues. So the first thing I have to do is to profile the issue. After profiling the issue, I will have to lay it in the Parliament of Uganda because it's an issue affecting my people.
Can we alternate that microphone?
We need to be protected that every penance should be using a microphone. This is a very high-profile platform engagement we are having. You need to address that. This is just a technical issue on batteries. I hope that will be fixed because this interruption will not be there. So I told you, after profiling the issue, where I'm supposed to talk about the issue is Parliament of Uganda. And when I speak about the issue, I've talked about connectivity. Are you talking about electricity? Are you talking about network, telecom network? Are you talking about the road network? Are you talking about other connectivities? But all these are provided within the guidelines and policies in Uganda that every taxpayer is supposed to receive a service. If a place is having poor network connections, like I told you, one time when I was working in Katakwe, there is a place in Usuk, Adachian did not have connectivity for MTN Uganda. I made a phone call. That time I was not a member of Parliament. As an activist, I made a phone call direct to MTN Uganda. And when they received my phone call, they were asking me, where are you calling from? I said, I'm calling from Katakwe, one of the remotest districts, and where high-profile leaders are coming. And the gentleman asked me, you are saying that place does not have network connection. Why are you able to be on phone? I told him, I have climbed the tallest tree because I was doing activity. As we speak today, that place has a booster, and the people of Katakwe, that location, are celebrating Asuku. There is an opportunity for people of Gweri and Teso now to celebrate Asuku, especially if I am given the mandate as a member of Parliament. The issues in Gweri, I told you, require a person with a heart to fix those issues.
Thank you. Thank you. I will cut you short for now. With the communities, you explained how you attempted to, at a personal level, to contribute to the problem of the health. You talked about Dokolo. You also talked about a number of infrastructures that are dilapidated currently. And if you went to Parliament, as you are expectant, how would you ensure that the local issues from your constituency are raised and addressed, especially at the national level?
Thank you. The major way in which the issues that your people are facing can be addressed by their member of Parliament, first and foremost, is for their member of Parliament to actually represent them in Parliament. As my brothers have rightly said, with a crisis of attendance of parliamentary sessions. And what also happens is that we also have MPs who attend but do not even mention a single word for 5 years. And that's what has happened to Gweri County. That is what exactly has happened to Gweri County. So as a result, people out there do not even know that there's a county called Gweri, but there's someone receiving salary for Gweri County. So, secondly, You cannot know the issues affecting the people of Gweri when you simply are elected as MP, you go to Kampala, and you don't touch base with your constituency. And that there has been a problem. So how am I going to address that? I will make sure that I actually put barazas in the county where people can meet and give me their views so that I go and represent their views. Remember, when I go to Parliament, I am not going there as me. I am going there as the voice of Gweri. Now, even these other things that other people ignore, such as clan meetings, funerals, focus group meetings, meetings with youth, are equally very important, because it is at a funeral that people will tell you an actual issue facing Gweri. They will tell you, you see, there's issue A, B, and C. How else can a leader address these issues? A good leader can be seen from when he's contesting. You find that right now, most of us who are at least I'm happy that the three of us here who are contesting don't have that problem. We are moving and mixing freely with the public. But we have candidates who are being guarded with 15 guns. How is a common man going to reach such a person to give him information? So we are saying, be approachable, be reachable, be available. And I, Oporot Able, expect to be each and every one of those things if I'm elected by the people of Gweri to be their MP for 2026 to 2031. So, the issues that are affecting the people of Gweri are indeed dire. So, the issue of radio talk shows is equally very important, because when you come from Parliament, the people who have to be my best friends in Soroti City when I go to Parliament will be the fourth estate, the very people who have actually organized this talk show, because there is no other way that people down there in Gweri can be able to hear something if it was not on TBS radio or a top radio or Veritas or any other of the media outlets that are available to Teso. Then, we're talking about media. There is actually a media blackout in Teso that people are not talking about. The top newspaper was stopped by government for some mysterious reason. We don't know what reason it was. If they're telling us that they were not making profits, we are not going to accept that reason if I go to Parliament as an MP. Because government is not supposed to make profit. Government is supposed to serve the people. Because we are going to pay tax again next year. And therefore, government should not be behaving like a businessman owning Rhino Camp where we are here, who requires profit. That's not government. So we are saying, even the revival of a top radio, or of a top newspaper, must be high on agenda of anyone who really wants to interact with the people, because people do not know what's happening out there. Now, we also even had, and by the way, for the people of Teso, we should thank the journalists fraternity, because these people even came together to begin I Charity newspaper. But because of the challenges of running this and that, I think that newspaper was not able to continue. We are now saying, we who go to Parliament as MPs in 2026 to 2031 should start a newspaper for Teso, because our language is dying and this is very important to us. So, how else are we going to communicate to people? How else will you know the people's views if people can't hear from you? People need to hear from you what has happened in Parliament, so that then they can also tell you their view. Most of the people we have in Gweri are not fluent in reading English. They're not fluent in reading English, but they can read that so better.
The Honorable Abel, you have taken us through how to identify the problem. Because as you mix up with the people, through churches, through what, and media, and so on, can you now take us through how you can address their issues at a national level?
Thank you. Their issues can now be addressed through policy. Now, how are policies formulated? If you have started the policy formulation process, the policy formulation process begins with a problem identification. What is the problem in Gweri County? This problem, I have to get it first from the common man in Gweri County. After getting this problem, then I can now have my personal assistant, who is a lawyer, do a legislative draft. And I am going to tell the people of Gweri, and indeed the people of Teso, that if elected as Member of Parliament of Gweri County, I am going to present to Parliament the largest number of private members' bills in the history of Uganda by a member of Parliament, and it will be done for the good of the people of Gweri and for the good of the people of Teso.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. And this actually takes me to, how would you act if your constituents demand, the demands of your constituents are conflicting with the national interest? How would you act to ensure that they benefit?
Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda actually says that power belongs to the people. If anyone comes and says, in fact, there is no part in the Constitution that says that national interest supersedes the power of the people. It's not there in the Constitution. Therefore, if there's a provision in the Constitution that is conflicting with the interest of the people, we even have special interest zones that have been created. Because, let me give you a practical example. The people of Karamoja were not able to go to school to study the way we studied from P1 to P7 here in the rest of Uganda. What government did was that they brought alternative basic education for Karamoja. What does that mean? If there is an issue that our people want, which conflicts with the national interest, it is possible for us to pass a legislation that exempts the people of Teso and allows them to do what they want. Because the Constitution said power belongs to the people. It didn't say power belongs to the people, but the people of Teso don't have power. The Constitution didn't say that. So therefore, this can be done through legislation. This can be done through enactment of new laws or repeal of the existing laws. Because these laws are not cast in stone. However, the problem we have today is that when some people have interests in the law, then the laws are easily changed. Like when they want to change term limits and age limits, it goes very easily. But when the people of Gweri now want something, why can't they get it?
In the people of Arabai over the Soroti University, the interest of government had conflicted with the interest of the constituents. Assuming the same situation came to Gweri, how will you address that matter as a member of Parliament?
The land that Soroti University is sitting on belonged to the mighty Teso College Aloet, where I studied from senior 1 to senior 6, and I'm an OB of Teso College Aloet. We used to eat mangoes in that land where the university is now. Now, what happened actually was that there were people who were displaced by war many years back and had settled on Teso College land. However, because they had settled for Teso College land for a long time, they deserved compensation. The problem, however, is that when people came to set up Soroti University, they came with the land title of Teso College, which they had subdivided, created a new title from Teso College land, and they wanted to evict these people without compensation. There is no place in the world where such a thing can be acceptable. There is no place on earth where such a thing is justifiable. And therefore, the people who were protesting were really asking for what is rightly theirs. I do not see any problem with people asking for compensation when they are being moved out for university to be constructed. As for Gweri, we now have someone who has come as one of the contestants in Gweri, but he is a chairperson of Natural Resources and Environment Committee. Now, the contestant, however, because government has kept separate issues to do with minerals and natural resources, we know that if anything of that nature happens in Gweri constituency, in Gweri County, we should have someone who is not a chairperson of natural resources, because he will have a conflict of interest in the matter. So we want the people of Gweri to wake up and ensure that when such a thing happens, They need to have a voice that can speak for them. They need to have someone who can fight for them. They need to have someone who is born in the August house. And that someone is none other than Opolot Abel.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a logical question. And one of the role of the members of parliament, you are the custodian of the public resources. And I'm aware that in such circumstances, we want to train leaders who should be able to do the proper role of representation. So thank you very much for the deliberation. And that takes us to the next.